Yeah, and people, it takes time. Like we were talking about, I don't know if I think it might have been you. Did you say you've put in time for potential fellow colleagues to follow you in this journey and invest, but it didn't pan out?
Yeah.
What happened
Unfortunately, yeah.
there?
I don't know. I think they seemed really interested the entire time, so I spent a lot of
Is
hours
it
just
because
like,
you're buying them lunches?
no, no, we paid for our own lunches. I
Oh,
don't know.
so that means he was genuinely interested.
Yeah,
That's the first step. You
yeah. I
split the
mean,
bill, and then if they come to the next meeting, they're
and they're really into it. Yeah. I don't know. I think the ones that I guess said that they weren't going to do it, they kind of like seemed like they wanted to do it. They just said, "Oh, I'll just wait for the next opportunity." Um, I think they just maybe this is the first time hearing it, so it's like just too much information
and
at once. And
and
I mean,
that
I understand that.
and it could be true. I mean, it is kind of nice they say on the second one because I've had people tell me that myself, other people raising funds they've gotten that. Now, that kind of keeps the door open. It's better than no,
Right.
as long as you answer their questions to the best of your ability. There's a lot of different investors out there. There's ones that are really busy. They just want to know top level. What am I
Yeah.
looking at for returns? When are the big payout periods? When's the
Right.
cash flow
Right.
coming in? Blah, blah, blah. What's the long-term goals? And then you got guys who are a little bit more analytical, like what happens in this case?
Yeah.
What's this vacancy number at? What do we looking exactly do, on the renovations
Yeah.
and year by year? How much are we spending on trash? Uh, but
Yeah.
whatever makes them feel comfortable. And at the end of the day, it's nice to have both parties, investors, and even your fellow colleagues question you on those things because sometimes they do catch things or bring up good points. That's why everyone, even if you're technically passive or consider a limited partner,
Hmm.
I always tell people you're still a partner of the LLC. It's not
Right.
like you don't have to do the day-to-day stuff. Obviously, maybe because you don't want to, you don't have time, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Shoot, and like I said, we're always available to chat if you have questions or you just want to talk real estate. No one's going to deny you that because we're partners in the deal. But I think it's good that people bring up their concerns and questions because um, you're never going to know everything. That's another huge thing about it. When you got 12 guys into a deal, you might have one guy that says, have we considered this as an income source? Maybe you want to try painting it this scheme because it's popular right now, and we're just like, that's a good idea. Like I am not an interior designer, but
Right.
we have a guy on there, on this current deal that's like an architect, so he knows the paint schemes and maybe some other improvements to do that he's just going to offer up, right? Because he's part of the deal and is just being helpful. So that's another reason too. You're not only in it by yourself or one guy because you slightly have a kind of a blind on. But when you got 15 guys that are current real estate investors, professional in their own trade, just guys that are going to think out of the box, that
Right.
want a bigger and better return. We got those questions coming in. So that's kind of cool too, that I don't think other people see. You kind of got, everybody's on the same side trying to help the same deal, which brings in a lot more money for everybody.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
another point that I tend to forget sometimes. I mean, you yourself, like, obviously, with the social media stuff, you know how to work the editing stuff, because I mean, obviously that's just aside from what you do day to day, obviously. But yeah, everyone could definitely pitch in, and you have your own platform, so that's pretty awesome. You have your own colleagues, so every bit helps, and it takes a good amount of effort from people to put a deal together. It's definitely not easy. I think those are most of the things. What do we aside from? I mean, there's obviously a multitude of other benefits. Is there any other few that you can think of that have been shot towards your way that you had to deal with?
I mean, sometimes you might experience like maybe someone might have committed to the deal and then they back out last minute. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why you just try to fundraise more than what you need, so then you account for a 10% loss or whatever it is, and that's part of the business.
That's another good point too. You could definitely put in a lot of time to get other people interested. They'll even sign the papers and have something comes up, and sometimes it's legitimate. I mean, you don't know when you get like a big medical issue, you get into a car accident. I mean, I think we've had an investor do that where like his stepdad got cancer, so he kind of had to back out of the deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep anyone in if they have a reason like that. So, I mean, at the same time, too, you don't really want to take anyone just into the deal. Usually you're looking for sophisticated investors in the fact that they're not going to technically hinder the deal, too.
Right.
So that's an important thing, too. We don't want to get someone who's going to cause trouble for the group, going to do anything like that. But then again, that's why we have, LLC papers drawn up to where each person's protected from each other, and also obviously liability claims from tenants themselves.
Right.
So that's a pretty strong veil there. But it's also good at, as long as you trust your GPs, you want to make sure they could handle the situation, because technically you don't know, every investor in the deal. So if you do get, a hothead or a bad investor, the GPs will be able to deal with them and calm any issues he has. But you don't want him to obviously try to take over the deal and to make all these decisions that maybe someone in his status might not have, the wherewithal to be making those decisions, or to try to rustle up or cause any issues. So that's part of the reason why too. It's not like the worst thing where you at least the GPs have some substantial amount of a foothold into the deal, to where as long as you trust them, obviously. They're going to be able to calm anything that pops up, either from the tenant side or from the investor side. But again, I only like to talk to friends and colleagues, investors that I know are going to be team players.
Right.
So
solid people.
If you try not to either, if you're finding a partner or a fellow investor, definitely don't get a troublemaker or a person without good integrity, because that might come to bite you in the butt, and it's not worth their money at the same time. Definitely not. There's a lot of good people out there that want to make good returns and not cause trouble.
Yep, I agree with that 100%.
So don't worry, we're not any of those people. So
right? I mean, we try to only bring on people we really know.
Right.
That's why it's not public.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but there are protections there that if it did go to like obviously Reg C, you wouldn't have
Right.
issues
Yeah.
because you still have managing rights with
Yeah.
the
And
people that are
yeah.
mainly in the deal.
True.
Not to say investors can't call and make suggestions anytime because it's their deal as much as anyone else's, so
Right.
not an issue.
Cool. So we're at 30. Should we?
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
well, I mean, unless you have anything else up, we can wrap this one up, and unless you want to talk about anything else.
Nothing in particular comes to mind.
Okay.
I know.
Clearly, we could talk 24/7 about real estate. I think you know what you're talking about, and give people the down and dirty negatives. I think that's what I personally seek.
Right.
When
Yes.
I tune into somebody, I don't want to hear like a shill. I don't want to hear some of the sugarcoat stuff. That's
Yeah.
why I personally don't like a lot of the big company stuff because they're just trying to sell a product and they'll just sell you the dream.
Right. And not the reality.
Versus guys who will tell you, the real situation.
Right.
And I hate to burst people's bubble, but it's a long grind. But tell me any big real estate guy that says this was easy. Tell me, like, most of them are older. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, there's younger guys, but few and far between, and luck a little bit has to do with it too. Obviously, luck and effort kind of line up.
Right.
The more you try, the more you get luckier. But for most people, it's a grind. It takes a while. Nothing's easy, like you see into a certain aspect of real estate. You gotta be at the right place. You gotta be with the right people. And what I see a lot of is just people give up if like a deal doesn't work out. And personally, I kind of use a little bit of this pandemic stuff. This is a situation that in our lifetime might not happen again. It hasn't really happened in our friends or parents'
Yeah.
lifetime,
History.
right? That they've
Yeah.
shut down the whole freaking world. The
Yeah.
very fact that it happened and it's kind of like a movie. You can't use that as a legitimate reason to change your life or not to stay, steadfast in your goal.
Yeah.
I don't plan to, change my profession and start selling shoes or something because a deal doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I mean, if everything was perfect and I messed it up because I'm an idiot, then I might want to change. But
Yeah.
I strongly believe things would definitely work out and be much easier if we didn't have to deal with this huge scare, of which, I have my own personal opinions of, but I don't think we'll ever know in the long term because you could make up a billion reasons as to say why things were done in the world to to reduce infection, but you just never know. It's just like economic policy. You can't go back in time and play the exact same scenario with a different stipulation.
Right. Yeah. You can't repeat. The game will never be the same.
Exactly.
It's always unique.
Because the government can always obviously say that the reason why it didn't spread is because we shut down the world. Like, maybe. Well,
Right.
I can't prove it.
True.
And thus, that's why obviously life has been made difficult for a lot of deals and people.
Yeah.
We shall continue on because I think there's still a good window. And there's now, I think a lot more people are getting a little bit more comfortable.
Well, you want to wrap this one up for
Sure, sure.
30 minutes? Cool. Well, it was a blast again, John, just talking about real estate with you.
Yes,
Um,
we will have to make this. We'll have to find a consistent timing for sure.
yeah, yeah, we'll make it. We'll find a consistent time and maybe make it a common upload, or even a live, maybe even live.
Yeah, for sure. We could do any of those things.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you on the next one.